So good morning, all of you. I believe we had a discussion yesterday related to the data modeling, data warehousing, data detailing that we had discussed yesterday. I believe I've given uh, the assignment yesterday. I just want you guys to understand. Did anyone tried at least to you know to solve it? Yeah, Arav has. You know, do you want to go ahead if you don't mind? And you can share your screen. Will that be okay, or should I? Oh, great. I think we can see your screen.
Well,
Can you
I've
unmute
tried, but
yourself?
I'm not sure I've done everything.
That's
I've tried
fine.
this much
That's
so
fine.
far, and I believe it's still only incomplete if you ask me, though.
Yeah, that's fine. Anybody tried it first? I just want to understand because yesterday we did a lot of things. I believe we discussed about the detailed, understanding about the data model, data warehousing, how the, in-depth knowledge of what is the entity relationship, what are the one to many, many to one, how actually the data, how to read the data. Even though you don't have, if let's say as a data analyst, if any work that has been assigned to you and ask anyone that, yeah, okay, these are the databases and you want to understand the data and accordingly the data, you just suggest me what are the relationship between them. Even if the relationship is not right, you let us know what are the relationship between those tables and the those stuff. So before we go ahead, let me give a little recap, Arav, that we discussed about as related to the one to many, many to many relationship, one to one relationship. We created the actual you know the data base and the data, in the tables, how the actual data looks like, how detail analysis, how the what are the FK foreign keys, what are the primary keys into the table, right? Once you log into the any of the databases, we talked about why it is required a little SQL knowledge to be there before we start ahead to the any of the data modeling, right? And we discussed about how we can process the data and read the data and understand those data analytics and have that FK and PK, right? We discussed about yesterday's e-commerce, right? E-commerce site, that how the data model or entity relationship was, right? We discussed about how there are PO table, there are invoice table, right? There are delivery table. Let's say I've ordered the delivery, one of the uh, headphones or mobile, how the data would look like between PO tables, how my purchase, whatever I purchased from the site, how my data getting stored into the table, then how it is been getting the invoices into the table, right? So those are the entity invoice table. What are the PO table? After the invoice, what are the transaction, for how I have done the transaction, UPI, through the UPI, or there might be a different the ID that I've used. If the product I did not like it, it went through the return product, right? So we discussed about the return product also, right? And also there is a one confirm one to one dimension, how the one to many relationship would be, how the many to many relationship would be, and how the one to one relationship should be, right? For that I have given one assignment to the people or the folks. If anyone missed out that session, please connect to Karan and or the MMIT technologies team, that let's have a recap. Those who are missed out, because I believe those who are joining today, I, they might feel a little difficulty, they might feel or may not. If they get that, okay, because I don't want that everybody should be on the same page, right? So get that recording, go through once one more time, and then we can go ahead. So I have given one example that Arav, I believe, yeah, Ekta, do you want to ask something? You
Yes.
raise your.
Actually, I am the student here of the September data analytics batch.
So,
Okay.
is it mandatory to attend this session? Because from when we joined, they uh, asked me to join just a two session per week, but with uh, within the HTML and everything, we are also assigned for the Power BI as well.
Correct. 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 Correct.
So this Power BI session is only for the ones for the data analytics batch of the September as well.
Yes. Yes, it is for everything. Everything. Those, because see, data analytics, you guys are, your designation in a company would be data analytics. Okay. Majorly, majorly, you what you would be learning, or you would be working. I won't say learning. You would be working into the professional world. Like first would be your SQL, basic. I mean, first would be you would be learning SQL. Then HTML, CSS, there are the secondary part. But first, you should know the SQL. Then, as I said, there are multiple things. Python is also one of them, basic Python. I'm not going to go about the detail, but at least you guys should know the advanced SQL and SQL, because anywhere data analytics, how to read a data. If you don't know how to read a data, rest of the things I am talking about Power BI, right? Power BI is a tool. It is depending upon the SQL, right? Because it is going to connect to the databases. If you do not know that, then it is a waste of, even though you do not know the how to create the data model, how you can, because it's a table structure, right? How the table structure would look like, how the joins would be. So that should include those, the basic fundamentals, that is SQL, then Python, little bit about the Excel, advanced Excel and the advanced SQL, and then you can go ahead for the any of the tool. This is the Power BI is a very strong tool that is currently high emerging. Business users are working on that. So Power BI is a one of them, because for a AI, artificial intelligence, right? You might be hearing a lot of things about AI, Chat GPT, but this is where the people are already taking care of through the Power BI is a very strong tool, and the Tableau, one of them. If you know the Power BI, I bet you guys you're gonna learn. I mean, even though I do not, you guys don't want me to reciprocate the same thing, because it's a very similar thing. Tool might be different, but if you know the logic and how to create a data model, you can easily learn it by yourself. Even though I don't think you guys need me for that, but yes, at least the fundamentals should know it. I hope I answered your question, Ekta.
Yeah, thank you.
So, yeah, those who missed out, please go ahead. I'll have a word with Nikhil, and MIT team, that get that recording for you guys, and go through for yesterday's 2 hour session. And then this today's batch, you might feel, those who are joining today, they might feel a little lag, because they are not attended, or probably that's the reason. But yes, I'm gonna talk what are the talking topics today. That will be the, again, the data modeling. I'll gonna go through the data modeling. Then I'll gonna go with the syntax of the SQL. What are the syntax of SQL? I'll go over the what are the sites you have to direct. I mean, go to the Google, go to the what are the sites those you required, right? What is the syntax of SQL? How you can try those SQL, right? So those actual talking that I'll gonna discuss today, and also little bit about the a little detail examples of the data modeling. Yeah, Amarjot, yeah, tell me.
I guess it is the last session of Power BI and Tableau, and I would like to ask about would it be repeated or should we go for a recorded session?
See, this should be, I mean, I'll have a word, because it is a detailed session. Within 4 weeks, I mean, within the 4 session, I don't think it can be covered everything, right? If you want to cover, so this is the 3 topics I've majorly covered, right? How you can install, how you can prerequisites, how you can create a data model. Those stuff I've discussed yesterday. But what about SQL? If you do not know SQL, what is the use of learning this?
Like I have
Basic.
missed two, like I have missed two
Dheeraj,
session. So sorry.
One by one, please. Sorry.
Like I have missed two session, and yesterday was little bit difficult for me. And
Oh, so that's why I asked. I mean, that's why I asked the the MIT team before we starting this session, right? Do we have the recording? I believe this
so
session
we
is a
only
recording
need to
session.
go through the recording, or because see, what MIT scheduled us for just for the 2 days in a week, right? Like two session in a week.
Right.
But right now they are giving us a four session in a week.
Okay.
So
So I
our question is, for the data analytics September batch, this is the only option to attend the session of the Power BI and Tableau, or there will gonna be other than this as well.
no,
Or
I
these
believe
are
this
the
is the
final.
this is
These
the
are the final.
yeah. This is the batch. I believe I'll be taking care of the data analytics. Power
Okay.
BI, SQL, advanced SQL, data modeling concepts, those stuff will be taken care
So
by
we are
us.
starting with the Power BI, right?
Right. Right.
Okay.
We have already started.
Now,
I
yeah,
believe last week we
yeah.
already started, I believe. And I believe you might be missed out the first two session. So I'll have a word with MIT team. Do we have a recording? So go ahead with the recording, and then you will have this session. So you can recall those stuff, and you can at least have that in a pace.
And I
Yeah.
and actually I have the question about the warehousing as well. Like,
Okay. We'll
can
we'll
you
take care of it.
clear
We'll take
or
care of it.
just a little look today for the warehousing?
Sure.
Thank you.
Definitely. I'll gonna take that in our Q&A session. No worry. Whatever question you have, just write down. I mean, why I'm asking writing down it, you might forget at the end.
Yeah.
So just write down right away, then you can clear
Okay.
off.
Mhm.
Yeah, Deep. I believe Krupa is also having. We'll go one by one. Yeah, Deep.
Okay. So in the beginning, when we asked them, they said it's just for because I am from non-MIT background and I started data analytics in September. So they said
Okay.
it's not necessary to attend as I don't have any background knowledge of SQL. So
Okay.
I think there will be other session because I don't have
Yeah,
any
there
knowledge
might
of
be.
SQL
Yes, but I'll also
because
gonna take it. Definitely.
and
I am the
I
only
think
one.
they said you are the only one who's gonna cover it.
Yes, yes, yes.
So
There might be a different session particularly, but why I'm saying it. See, if I completely say Power BI, right? Power
mhm.
BI, what is the background of Power BI? That requires SQL.
SQL, yes, I know. SQL is the
In
basics for Power BI and Tableau
right,
to get the
right.
report
Any
analysis.
reporting. Let's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
talk about the Power BI, or there are a lot of reporting, business objects, Spotfire, SAP. There are a lot of,
yeah,
but if let's say if I start with the Power BI, already I've started. We are already in the
yes,
middle,
yes, yes,
right?
yeah.
Yesterday's was the data modeling. Yes, we learned about the data, how we can start with the data modeling and those stuff.
Mm-hmm,
If I say that, okay, we'll go to the tool, and if I, let's say, I did not speak about anything related to the SQL, it is
mm-hmm.
of no use. It is of no
No
use.
use, yes.
You'll gonna again you have to go back and you have to go ahead, and you might have to attend the SQL to
Yeah,
learn, because it will not gonna get into your mind. What is
perfect.
I'm talking about? What are the terms? As I said, right? As I said, I might be talking in the class. There are few terms you might get. Okay, what he's talking about, right? Those terms you'll not gonna understand, right? So that's why I little focusing about the data modeling, data warehousing, and SQL, and then whatever the middle Power BI is spoken, right? For the last two session last week, I believe we have had a hands-on, Power BI, how we can install that Power BI, what are the prerequisite, what are the each tabs does it, how we can get that data. We already did that in last two session. So I hope you guys, I'll gonna have that for everyone. I'll have a word with Karan and their team to at least get those recordings for the folks those who have not attended.
Yeah.
At least those I can at least understand, right?
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, Krupa, I'll come back to you.
Okay, so I believe majority of the people over here are from September data analyst batch who just joined. But I belong to Fab batch. So we have finished this all. We have covered SQL, MySQL, and all these topics we have
Okay.
covered through. So I
Okay.
just wanted to know. I know today is the last lecture for Power BI and Tableau, right? Like today is the last session.
Uh,
Because
Today is the
Pinkish
webinar is the last session.
webinar, yeah.
Yeah. But I'll gonna
Because
have a
we
word.
okay,
Definitely I'll gonna have a word because I need few more session also to cover the
okay.
entire visualization and those stuff.
Exactly.
Because
That's what I wanted
in
to know
4
because
weeks,
Tableau, yeah, it's impossible to cover everything in in
four
couple of
session it
hours.
is, yes, it is not
Yeah.
easy to cover everything.
So today you're just gonna cover Power BI and data visual. Tableau is still like you haven't given any any overview or anything about Tableau. So
Tableau,
that
yeah,
would be still
Tableau is
pending,
the
right?
pending, correct. Tableau is
So
the next. But
so will
before
there be an
that,
extra webinar for this or how it's gonna work? Like
yes, it will be a webinar. Yes.
there will be, right? Okay, that's all I want to
Yes.
know. Thank
I'll
you.
definitely gonna have a word with Karan and their team.
Okay.
What would be, because I'm not sure who is coming from which background first. Who
Yeah.
is coming from which batch? As you mentioned, you are from the batch
Yeah,
Feb.
we have finished
And
MySQL and everything because we are from Fab batch and I belong to IT
okay,
background. So
okay,
we have covered this pretty much all MySQL and everything. So I just wanted to make sure because when I talked with Pinkesh sir, he told me that this will be just Power BI and Tableau. But I understand majority of people are new, so you have to cover MySQL. So that makes
yes.
sense.
And
No
even though
problem.
I believe yesterday we talked about data modeling
Data
concepts.
modeling. Yeah.
That is the part of Power BI.
Power BI. Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Yep. Anyone has any concerns or questions related? Because today is the last webinar. If you ask me, I want to cover because we are in the third step now. First, we discussed about how we can install, what are the columns, what are the each tools in last 2 weeks, right? Then we discussed about the third step is the data modeling yesterday, and today I'm gonna cover the data modeling and a little bit about the SQL, real-time SQL, and the one assignment yesterday I've given. So I'm gonna discuss about that first, and we'll go over the hands-on data modeling through the Power BI. All right, and whatever the Q&A session, right? Please write it down, and we'll cover that in Q&A session in our end of the session. So Arav, do you wanna go ahead? I have already given that assignment, so I'll gonna walk you through, guys. Right? Just scroll up a little bit. Yes, what we have given the while I'm speaking, just put it on mute.
Sorry. Okay.
Yeah. So see what we have done it. We have let me give a little brief what we have given. We have given that assignment as per the how we can consider the data model or a data entity relationship for the IT organization. Let's say Infosys is the IT organization, right? How we can data has been stored with the relationship so that the data model would be look like, right? So yeah. So you wanna go ahead or should I say, Arav? So
Uh,
I can see that you have created the employee. So there are employee underscore info table. Okay. There is a department table. There is a job info table. There is an employee status table. Go a little bit down. Right?
that's all I have.
Okay. So this is what are the relationship that we discussed yesterday. See, employee table has the employee ID, employee name, department ID, job ID, salary, status code, and hire date. Right? And other than this, right, we have a department info underscore table that says that department ID, department name, and reports too. Right? Which department you guys or that there might be one more column, right? That is called employee ID. you can add that one more column that is called employee ID, and you can make it that is an FK. Right? Those employee IDs are from taken it from the your employee underscore info table. Right? So this is what we discussed. One employee ID, employee name, department ID, job ID, salary status. Those are the table structures. That means table columns. Then department info, which we had, that is department ID, department name, who is reports to which manager, and employee ID. That means for which employee ID, what is the department, right? So if you see, there is a relationship. One is the primary key and other is the other, in other table it is the foreign key, right? And there is another table called job underscore info. That means what is the salary. You can call it as not the job, you can call it as a salary table. Instead of job, you can call it as a salary, and you can call it as uh, yeah, you can call it as salary underscore info, or you can call it as salary itself, right? Instead of job ID, you can say that column name as a SAL underscore ID, salary underscore ID, right? Is why I'm saying it is a structured, right, table. We are creating a very structured query to give the proper nomenclature for each table, right? Salary, again, for which salary, again, see, this is what I want to add. You have added the salary, but I think so for which employee, what is the salary? If I want to find out, I cannot see, right? So here it should be an employee ID, correct? From here, I can find out the relationship. It will be a FK, correct? So you can from the salary, you can calculate from which background he is, right? You can get those employee IDs and put it under the your employee ID FK, right? What else we can say? I mean, guys, I know. Do you think so? The IT of organization Infosys, right, only has 3 columns. Do you think so? Yesterday we discussed about e-commerce business. We added a so on, or I guess we added almost 6 to 7 tables. Do you think so? What extra with that we can add? Anybody want to answer on this?
Yes, I have. I also tried to make it IT organization tables,
Okay,
that date table and
correct.
hours
It is
log table.
okay.
Yeah,
There would be
I just
another date table, correct? There will
and
be a
working hours log
correct.
and
Do you
yeah,
think so? Do you think so? I should be added, or a company should be added the in and out time, employee in and out time.
it's working hours
Yes,
log table.
working hours.
Yeah.
Yes, it should be a working log table underscore log. Yes, that is fine. Underscore log. So where you can consider what is the working hours of that table. So what should be added over here? Any in date dimension will have a date. Date dimension will have a date. This is the model that we are creating, guys. The same way we did for yesterday for e-commerce, the same way we are creating. Date is the PK. Again, you just write the column. No need to have a data. That's fine. That's fine. I just want the guys to understand. If nobody, I mean, the person, those who are now not done the assignment, they at least get those, understanding.
Uh, is
Uh,
it possible
they,
to share my screen if it's
yeah, you
possible?
can share. Okay, okay, share. You already created?
Yeah, I have already created.
Okay, you can share it.
Yeah. Can you see?
Yes, I can see.
Yeah, I just made a employee table,
Correct,
department table.
correct.
Then after that,
Date table, working hours, correct.
and then after hours log table, like how many, each employee total hours counted, and then salary payment table. Like,
Correct. You
I
can
don't
call it
know,
as
is it correct
transaction.
or not?
You can call it as a transaction, salary
Okay.
transaction. Instead of payment, it should be a transaction. So in date, up to date is very similar. Working hours has the log ID. Guys, please note that we have created this as a data model or entity relationship for the Infosys. I mean, Infosys, how the table entity relationship between those data, right? So we created employee from their employee. If I want to find out who is the for which department is working under, right? So it will be a department table from which date he joined this person or employee. So there will be a date, right, on which date he joined it. So there will be a date table on the 21st row. If you see, right, on 27th row there is a working hour for how many hours, that how much hours he's logging in, start time and end time is a fair enough idea, where you can get that ID. Okay, this person is logging in at 23rd, it is 9 a.m. and is leaving at 5 p.m, right, where you can calculate over there one more column, add there is one more column, count working hours, right, where how you can count it, it will be a end, end time minus start time, right? So
Okay.
it will be something like between 9 to 5. If I say there will be a, I believe 9 hours, right?
Yeah.
10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 10, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, it would be a 9 hours, 9 or 8 hours. Again, same. So it will be calculated as a direct answer. I don't want to go and calculate. So it will be a my count working hours is a calculative, column. It will be call it as a calculative column. So this is I'm gonna calculate itself in my current table, but this is what I can get for a easy understanding. Let's say I've logged in into the working hours log table, select star from working hour log table. I should not be able to understand, okay, this person employed 1736, I'm not getting it. Okay, logging at 9 every day. Let's say it is every day. Let's say I have a 30 records for this employee, right? So I cannot check for for each employee for a 30 days. It is very difficult to understand, right? So there is always there will be a one column called the count working hours. So you can easily say, okay, where you can directly write down the query. I'll select star from this table where employee ID is 1736 and check the working hours of those, how much hours he's been working. Is it 8 hours, 9 hours, 3 hours? You can directly calculate over here average, as I mentioned in the previous last week, how you can calculate the column, right? As you can say that, there is a column. Let me share my screen. There is there is a called a column profiling that we do it, right? I believe I have discussed this, how we can get into this Power BI. Then after that, there will be a query. And after that, there will be a, sorry, there will be a profiling under this view, where you can find out for each view, See, this is the table. Each table, you will find out whatever the table you have inserted, those table will be under this transform, right? So it will take some time. So here you can find out that counts, what is the average, just for an easy understanding that employee has been how much working hours for that employee, right? And is it fair enough? I mean, Dipti, it is a very fair enough data which you have shown it.
Yeah, thank you.
So guys, those who have not done it, please try to get that. Have a listen to the previous session and try to get this tables data, because I have created this data by my own, right? I want you guys also should, create your own data. That means you will be very much understanding the deep understanding about the data. The same way I believe Dipti and Arav have already created those data. The same way, try to create those data for for a better understanding of the data model, right? So today, let this get open. Then I'll gonna show you guys. For today, I'll gonna cover a little bit about deep deep diving again of the data model. I believe everybody has got the PPT, right? I've shared this PPT for everyone. It is in the forum, right? Everyone got that? Any heads up? You can guys put it in the chat if anyone got that or not.
So you shared on classroom or chat?
I believe it has been shared by the MIT team. I believe I've shared those to the. I believe should be available in the forum. Yeah, it is updated on the classroom. See, I've given to this team, and I believe this PPT is already available. It says it has each step by step how you can have that. We already discussed a few things in last week about how you can go ahead. We discussed about grouping. We discussed about the index column. We discussed about how you can appending, what is the merging, those discussions that we have discussed, right? Then we started yesterday with the data model, right? See, this is where I have shown it. Sorry, how you can create your own data sets, right? We have that already shown this in this site here. See, I've created, this is my Power BI Power Query under the Power BI. Here, if you see territory key, that this is the key. Can anybody wanna say that? I want to ask you guys, what is this key about? How you can create the key? Let's say I don't have this key, assumption. If I want to create a key, anybody wanna answer on this? Those who have attended. I want to create, let's say, assumption. I only have in territory table, I only have region, country, and continent. I do not have data for this key. Then how I can create this key? Anybody want to answer on this? We
Like
already
having not null
discussed.
unique items.
Add column.
We already discussed this. Someone says that not null.
Add column.
Yeah, that is add column. Definitely it is going to be add column, but what would be the adding? What should be added? See, add column will have a lot of things. What should be added? We discussed.
We need to make that column a primary key, having not null unique items in it.
No. I believe, let's say, you're not getting my question.
Indexing column.
This column is not there. Assumption. This column, I'm not talking about data. This
You
column
need to
itself
go to
not
the
there.
data structure and define the relations between one
Let's
table
say,
and the other table.
correct. Let's say if I remove this. Now tell me, I want to, now tell me I have imported this table. Whatever the activity you will gonna proceed over here, you will gonna find out those activities that we discussed. Now the source data is look like this. Okay. I want to get that primary key. I'm not sure, right? Do you guys really think that this makes sense data? No, right? If I want to add the entity or a relationship between both the table, I cannot add that entity. Correct. So what should I add? How I can add? I have discussed about index column. Did you guys remember in last week?
Yeah.
Yes. See, we discuss add column. Go to the add column and go to the index. Index. What do you understand by the index? It is starting from 1. That means it will give you the uniqueness sequence. Let's say you have, and I don't have any key, then it will be creating as a key. How much columns, how much data you have into the table, it will create from the key. Now you can say that from 0 you wanna start or a 1. Obviously it will gonna add from the 1. See, it is called index. If you double click over here, you can call it as fair enough, right? So those, each functionality I have discussed, please guys go through whenever you get a time. So because if you do not know, see, this is what I am focusing upon it. Let's say you got the data like this, then you have to think. You cannot ask the source team that, oh, we did not receive the proper data. No, then how you can create the proper data? This is how we can we can have that Power BI tool, and you can create your own data with this respect, and you can create your territory ID and you can save it, right? So I'm just removing whatever that we have discussed. It will be here. It will be whatever the activity we're gonna do, it will be over here. So I'm removing that. Remove the column. You can directly do that again, right? Now I'll gonna go over the the how we can go ahead and do the or split the data. Anybody wants to go ahead? Let's say I'm closing this. I'm closing this because we are talking about the data model. So I'll go to the data model, close and apply. So data model would be look like this, right? But do you think that there is no connecting between them? Yesterday, what I've did between product and the sales, right? Anybody want to answer on this? We discussed that. What is the entity relationship between them? From between product and sales data.
The product key.
Correct. Now tell me product key and what is the relationship them? Any wrong answer would be fine. I mean, see, what would be the
One to many.
relationship?
One item could have multiple sales record.
Correct. Correct. Because one product can have a multiple sales record. Correct. And product key would be the my first ID for which product it is been having one key. So it will be a one to many relationship. So what would be the customer assumption? Let's say customer key. Customer key. If you see there is one more table. Let's say I'll assume there is one more table. Okay. Then what would be my customer data? If I show you over here, let's go to the model, Power BI. Let's go to the model. over here. See, we already done this, right? There is a key. What is the key? Sales data, it
Customer.
is having 1 to 1. Yes, this is the customer, because
Customer.
obviously, because I want to see assumption. You just think about that. I want to see the what is the count, okay, of each customer. Then I don't want this should be a duplicate, right? I want a data should be look like a very similar way, that key should not be repeated, even though it will be repeated. But if I want to see what is the sales data, right? I don't want that sales data to be repeated. I want the what is the how much customer have ordered the entity. I mean, if you see, it is very much understanding, or very much, you can see that it is very much understanding that customer having how much ordered quantity. That means how I can calculate. Anybody want to answer? Order quantity, how I can calculate? If I go to the ETL, let's say sales data, right? Sales data. If I go to the again transform data, now how what the data would be look like for which customer? Sales data. How the sales data would be look like? Anybody want to answer on this? First data would be, as I'm saying, cost key. Second data would be, let's say, order item. Right? Order date, line item, order number. Okay. So guys, tell me, what should I include? What should I include over here? Depending upon this thing, I want to understand what is the quantity, right? So I'll say that order quantity,
Quantity.
right? How, what else I can include? Okay, I get the order quantity. How I can calculate? Let's say customer one. I'm gonna put this customer one data. Order item is 2. Okay, that means order item is, there are 2 items. Order number is, let's say, 1 2 3 4. Order date is 2 days. Let's consider 2 days date. And quantity, let's say items are 2 for each. Then how much quantity would be? Anybody wanna answer on this? There will be a order total. If you calculate the order total quantity depending upon the customer, then there will be a 2. Correct? So as I
Uh,
said,
so we have to add item ID too if we have item table.
yes, yes,
Oh, yeah.
it will be a item. It is a foreign key, right?
If I'm if I'm not wrong, is it regarding fact and dimension table? We can
Yes,
say
it is. Yes, yes. I'm
yeah.
gonna come to that. I'm gonna come to that. It will be a daemon fact, but I don't want to, now tell that directly what are fact and deems. We have that in our session next. What are deem and fact, right? These are the next session I want to discuss. But now, now I just want that how I can calculate that. Leave about the fact and dimension. This will be a fact, okay? But I want to understand how we can calculate based upon the quantity. Order quantity, that means, let's say I want to calculate how much count of the sales order or order with respect to customer. Then I'll be going ahead and do this like this. Select count, right? Star. I'm writing the query for you guys. Comma, cost, key, from sales table, sales data, group by cust key, correct? This is where we're gonna get the all the counts. So how much data I'll be getting? I'll be getting the, see, this is how the data would look like, counts and the customer key. This data, once I run this SQL, I'll be getting this data. Something like this. Customer key is 1 and quantities are 2. Got it, everyone? Right? So let's say I'm gonna add one more column. I'm going a little detailed SQL. I'm gonna have that basic also. I have already opened that how we can go ahead a little basic about SQL. But before that, I want to make you that what are the things, or think in your mind that what are the things you can analyze on the basis of the data, right? Sales amount, order amount. I'll add the order amount also. So what would be the order amount? If I say what would be the order amount? Let's say I'll consider as for each item, there will be an order amount of order line amount. Let's consider line amount. Okay. Or let's consider order amount itself, not to have a little confusion. Order amount. How I can calculate? Anybody wanna answer? Within this, I want to add this. I want to add this order amount also over here. And how I have to add? Like this, something like this. I will be doing one more calculate. See, these are the things I'm calculating, guys. It is not available in my data. What I'm doing is I'm calculating. This will be a sum. What I'm using? Sum of
Order.
right? And this will be giving me that or the amount. Let's say I've ordered 4 items or 2 items. Let's consider headphone. Yesterday I've taken the example for headphone and the iPhone. Then it was around 15K. So total would be 15K, right? And so on for, let's say, second is the customer, third is the customer, fourth is the customer, and fifth is the customer, right? This is my, as I discuss over here. This is my add column index column that I discussed now, right? It is creating each customer key one by one. And someone asked me that, right? Why it is not having null, not null, or a zero, right? As I even explained yesterday about, does anyone know about your mobile phones or your numbers, whether it been mapped with the different people also, right? It has been not, it is a very unique identity that to understand which data is look for which person, or which person is having those data. For that we need the index column or a unique identity number, that is called unique identification of the number, right? So here there will be again second customer have added, let's say, three items, so on 4 items, 5 items, 6 items. And here if you say that, let's say some would be, someone has 7,000, someone has 8,000, someone has 9,000, and someone has, let's say, 12,000. So this data simply I'm getting by 3, by hitting this query. So this is where, even though our here Power BI also, as I mentioned, I already gone through, right, to the transform. Here you will get all the data. If you go to the transform, this will also give you If you go to the tool, see column distribution, column quantity. If you select on, let's say, I'll go to the cells. Okay. Cells, let's say I'll go to the cells data. After that, I want to see that what is the column distribution. Once you select on the view and select on the column distribution, you'll get that data, even though from here. See, for each customer, the order quantity is 1. The distinct value is 1. See, you'll get those answers, right? And if you want to find out your own, let's say if I want to find out and do a little bit about statistics assumption, let's do about statistics. I want to find out how much columns that we have or how much quantity, right? About where we can find out, right? Uppercase or which, whatever. Let's say if I want to find out the quantity or any customer key is unique, then you can go and directly do your directly go and transform to the uh, to the column and do the statistics, where you can directly find out sum, what is the sum, what is the minimum, what is the maximum, what is the average, right? So always we do the average on the basis of statistics. Go and select on this column, go to the statistics, do the sum. Let's say if I do the sum or if I do the maximum, let's do the sum, or let's have the count, because quantity I want to see that the count. Let's say the counts. See, you'll get the count 2630. You got it? That means how much count I have for each total count. Counts are 2630. That means total data in this, how much I have, that is 2630. If I say how much count with the there is customer key. A little slow from my end. Even though you can add a little, scientific, if you want to add or something like that, power value or a square root value or a logarithm or factorial, those also are available over here, right? Even though those also could be taken care. And there is one more I want to show you guys. There is one more standardized there. You can directly add it in this data. You can create and extract the, from as we discussed, right? In last previous session, you can extract the, the data between this, right? If I want to, extract the first data of 21st or a 09, where you can go and get the first text before the delimiter, text after the delimiter. Those also we have discussed. These all are discussed, right? So go and check the previous recording. So, and these are the uppercase. If let's say data you want to have a uppercase or lowercase or capitalize each word, then you can do it for this selecting this table, and then you can do it. So I'll go next to the data modeling now. This is, I want you guys to have a little more hands-on related to this, that we complete discuss about each tabs. What are the tabs, group by tabs? What is the, review, how we can count the rows, what detect the data types. Also fine, you directly click on this and you can directly type over here what is the data type. You can directly see that this is the date data type. Even though you can see over here, there is an icon, right? There is an icon called that is a date. There is an order number. This is called, it is the number. It is the varchar. Product key, it is the number. So and so on, you're gonna find out those data. Then you can, how you can replace, how you can, fill that data, how you can, move that data, how you can split the column, right? As we discussed, how you can extract, how you can merge the column, how you can create the date. So those we have already discussed. So guys, I want how you can add the column, how you can add the duplicate column, how you can add the index columns, as I said, even though I just showed you guys. And apart from date, you can create your own table, right? That also we discussed. So I want you guys to please go ahead before we start, because these are the hands-on practice. So I don't want guys to lost in the middle, right? So now we'll go to the little more understanding about the dims and fact. Okay, because this is where the major, this is we discuss again. See this one to many. Yesterday we discussed product and sales, how it will be from the basis of the product key. Again there will be a return data. As I said, the product, whichever the product has got the return, then it will be on the basis of the which product has got return, then it will be a product key, right? Or there will be a return ID, as this we already discussed on the last class, yesterday's class. Now here is the major concept. This is called the normalization, right? I'll go over the data. Okay, I'll not give you, I'll want to give you a little understanding. Please observe the data and then we can go ahead. Let's say we already have a data, right? Okay, please observe the data and then you can guys let me know what do you think. Okay, I'll remove this, add few more columns. There's a very need of normalization concept. So you guys should know what is a normalization. So I'm just writing out for you guys the data, real data I'm creating. So I want you to guys understand about the normalization. Department name, then I'll add let's say IT, then I'm gonna add mhm, log, salary is added, log, working hours. Okay, let's say I'm gonna add this. I'm gonna add the working hours start time or and time, start time. Let's say take it as 12. I'm living at, let's say, 8. Okay, fair enough. So this is my employee table. I'm talking about the normalization concept, guys. So please understand, this is the data warehouse concepts that I'm talking about, where let's say in some of the cases you receive this, data. Okay. You receive that data and assumption that, okay, there is an employee ID, Dheeraj, last name is location, pin code, joining date, salary, department, work, everything is in one table, right? But do you think that I don't want, let's say I'm the analyst, I don't want to see his, why working hours been mentioned unnecessarily. I just want a employee ID, what is the joining of this employee, then what is the use of this department and working hours. It is no need for me, even though salary of no need for this, even though salary, right? So what is required in employee, I just want to see the joining date. Then why this 5 columns extra, 6 columns extra in a one table, unnecessary creating this, the columns, or the columns should be in a such a way that I don't need it, but still there in the table, right? So this is where the concept called the normalization. This table, which is called, it is in the denormalized form. It is called the denormalized form. I want to create this table as a into the normalized form, right? So now how I going to take a part and create a normalization, right? How I'm going to do it? I don't need it. So what I'm gonna do? I'll separate that column. This is where the data analytics or a the developer SQL or a database developer, what they're gonna do? They're gonna create the entity relationship as we discussed yesterday, right? So for that, you guys you should know what are the entity relationship between them. So I can create a new table for this, right? So let's create again department table. And department table will have department ID, even though it is not our, but I'll gonna add the department ID, create in the index table, and I'll add the department ID, department name, enough, right? These are the columns I'll gonna add it. What next I'll gonna add it? I'll gonna add the log table. It will be a logging ID and start time, end time, and working hours. Right? What next? See, I'm creating this is my data. It is in the denormalized form. I'm creating this data into the normalized form and creating the entity relation the same way we did it yesterday, right? So you guys will have a little more understanding. Okay, I can create from the denormalized form, I can create my own normalization form, right? Okay, we create a department, we create the log. What else that we need? Anybody want to answer? We left out
Salary.
something. Yes. So there will be a trans table. It is called transaction table. Depending upon the trans ID, there will be a again. Let's take it as a salary. Transaction date and trans ID, salary, and the transaction date. Right? It will give me an answer that sorry, it will be having again employee ID.
ID.
Right? Here there will be a again employee ID. There will be a again here employee ID. So that means if you look at it, everywhere I'm adding this is as a PK, primary key, right? This is my again PK, primary key. See, very simple data I've created into the multiple chunks table. So this is called the normalization. Right? So this is where we're gonna have it. Okay, this is my employee ID. From employee ID, I'm gonna have this assumption. This is my FK. Again, this is my employee ID is my FK. This is called, I'm talking a little short forms. PK is the primary key, FK is the foreign key. Right? From here, I can get it. If someone wants to see my employee table, which I just want to see the joining date, he'll gonna get directly from joining date. Right? Now you guys have to tell me, let's say, if I want to see the data which employee is having, let's say Dheeraj or Suraj, or Dheeraj want what is the salary for Dheeraj? I cannot get it in my employee ID, right? Employee table. So, or if I want to see the data, something like this, you guys have to tell me. I mean, how I can achieve it. I just want to see this data. So here you're gonna need to understand this SQL, which I'm gonna talk next. Here, let's say I want to see employee ID. Oops, sorry. Employee ID. Again, I want to see the joining date. And I want to see the salary. Simple. What is the employee? What is the joining date? And what is the salary? How I can get it? In single table, I have employee ID till joining date. I don't have this. I'm gonna hide this. I don't have this assumption. If I want to find out what is, I want to see the employee ID. Let's say 43378, joining date, assumption 01, 110, 2, and salary would be 50. Let's take it as 50. Okay, I can get the data for salary, okay, from the transaction table. Okay, and even though I can get the employee ID from transaction, but I don't have the joining date here. So how I can get it?
Fine.
Right? Here you guys would need a concept called SQL. As I mentioned yesterday, I even though spoke a SQL yesterday. Here, if you want to see this, here you have to join this two table. Right? Here you would need the I want to join this employee table with this my transaction, or you can consider this is my salary, right? So here is the salary. You can see that okay, salary is in trans table. I need to join this salary table and the employee table. Here you need to understand what are the concepts, right? I have already have you just simply, if anybody wants to go ahead and check about the basic SQL. I'm not going to talk about the advanced SQL, right? You can type the W3 school and go to the W3 school and go to the best, right? First step, right? Go to the first step and see what are the things that we have. Up to, you don't have to go for entire, major stuff, but if you covered complete thing, it's at least you might get an idea about what is this SQL and how I can create. I'll gonna teach you. I'll go one by one. Now we want to achieve this, right? we want to achieve this data. Right, we want to achieve this data. How I can achieve this data? So I need to join this table. So which join? See, if you see, for a joining purpose, we need something similar column to be available, right? That is where we create the relationship, which is called primary and the foreign key. If you see, there are two things. I can see there is an employee table, there is a transaction table. I can see there are two columns. We can see the similar. So that means I can join these two table and get the data, right? So what are the joins? I can directly go ahead. You can join the inner join. There will be there are multiple types where you can join inner. That means the common entry should be available, right? Let's say here I have the data assumption, same data transaction ID as I'm saying it 1 2 3 4 5 6. I have the salary called 50K, transaction date 2 days, right? And foreign key, sorry, foreign key employee ID is 843378. So how the data would look like? It will match the data on the basis of this column, right? So if you see similar column, that means employee ID, I'll put it as 843378. Okay. So that means Dheeraj is the one who I can see. It is common. Common, that means data is very much common for those two tables. Then it will be it is called the intersection, that is called inner join. I'm gonna join these two tables. So what are the type of joins? It will be a inner join. I'm gonna go over here. Go to the W3 school. Go to the joins. This is the inner join. There are the SQL join. There is the inner join, where you can see this is a syntax. See guys, what is the syntax? Select column name. Select what column I need. You just have to tell me guys what column I need.
Employee ID,
Employee ID.
Yes.
Employee ID,
joining underscore date, and
Yes.
salary.
joining
Join
date,
date.
Correct. I'm gonna write it over here. What are the things I need? I'm gonna expand it little. Yes. Column name. What I need employee ID. So I'm gonna add over here as an employee ID. Correct. What from which table it is? Table from which table? Table 1. That means the employee table. Then inner join. That means it is having the similar record. It is the intersection. If you see inner, that means what is the common entries between table 1 and table 2? It will give you that answer. That is called the inner joins. In SQL, there are inner, left, right, full, and self join. For that, first one we are talking about the inner join. That means table 1, that means employee table, and the department table. What are the common entries that are there in data? It will give me that answer, right? So here you're gonna get from employee table. Next table, I'll alias the name. Okay, table 1, that means I'll alias employee. Second table is my trans table,
Constable.
right? From on, that means this is a syntax, right? On which table? First table, column name employee. Employee dot which column? As I mentioned just
Employee
now.
ID,
Yes. What is a common column? Called the
employee ID.
employee ID. So I'm gonna add on the basis of the employee ID. If you see column name, that is the employee ID, right? And same table 2, what is my table 2? Trans.
Trans.
table, and employee ID is my same column. So
column.
this will give me data like this. So that is where you have to write down. See, this is where in my Power BI, if you ask me about over here, right? I'll go over, I'll close this. Just a moment. Close and apply. Try to get your hands on this tool, guys, please. I'm again telling you guys, because it will give you know give you a little confidence that even though you guys can create your own data and you can play around with this tool. Okay, see here why I'm enforcing about SQL. Here you can see there is the customer key. I'm double clicking on this. Just wait for some. So it will open the join. Here it will gonna open the join, right? So this is will gonna understand, okay, what are the joins that we can easily get it? These are the joins. Now you guys have to tell me. Let's say I'll go over to the all the other joins as well. Okay, I'll gonna add the data. I'll go over the left join. Everything similar. Everything similar. Only instead of inner there will be a left. Okay, every syntax is everything similar, but instead of inner it will be a left join. What does is understood that? What do you understand by left? That means whatever data available in my table 1, that means employee, it will give me. It is not related to the common entries, it is related to the as well as the table 1 full entry, as well as my common entry will give. That means table 1 is my first table. That means in our scenario, let's talk in our scenario, right? We have a 2 entry, Dheeraj and Suraj, let's say, right? And here we do not have, in trans table we have only 1 entry. Let's say instead of inner, I'm going to use this left. Anyone wanna answer what data would be? Anyone are gonna answer? As I explain, there will be of complete data of table 1, that is employee, and as well as the intersection, that means common entry between table 1 and table 2.
Yeah, it's we'll return all the data from table 1, like employee table, and
Yeah,
match
let's
records.
talk about the data. It will be like this, something like this. It will be 8, sorry, it will be, let's say, 1 2. It will be something like this, 1 2 3 4. Okay, joining date,
23rd.
oh sorry, data. Okay, let's say salary. What would be the answer in salary? Anybody
Null.
want to answer?
NULL.
None.
Yes, it
None.
it will be null. Always remember. Why? Because data. That's what I'm talking in data, real time data. This will, once you do the hands-on, you'll gonna understand. Okay, why it is coming null. So here itself you're gonna understand why it is coming null. See, I don't have entry in transaction for this guy. That's why the salary is, it is there. It is not getting match, right? But why it is getting matched? Because we are doing the left join. Whatever the data for employee and the joining, it will give me. But I don't have data for salary for a second table. Then there is a no intersection. We are not bringing that second table's data, right? So it will be go over the my null entry. All right. Now, guys, you have to tell me. Now, simple. For right outer, it will be a right entry. Same way, just now we done for the left, it will be a right. That means whatever the data, complete data is available for right as well as the intersection. That means trans tables data complete as well as the common entries between employee and the trans. Now you have to tell me what data it would be. Anybody want to answer? Right outer join, right join. Anybody want to? It's very simple. Think of.
I think it wouldn't print joining that.
It's
Just
gonna be
think,
just
just think,
employee ID
just
from
think. See,
employee table.
as I mentioned, same everything syntax is same. Instead of left, I'm doing the right. That means whatever the data it is there in transaction, complete data in transaction, and the data between employee and the data between trans, the common entry will be there. So what would be the data?
The
Think. I
output,
want you guys to think,
output
put
same
a
like
little
a inner
pressure on
join.
the. Yes, that is what I want to hear it from you guys. It will be a inner join. Think, you just think, just analyze the data. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Because
6.
only one
I
record
don't
is
have any
here.
entry. Yes, it is only one record. So complete whatever the data. Okay, I have that data. 8433 for second table 843378. Joining date. Okay, well, from where it I'm joining it on the basis of intersection. Okay, 843378 I've matched it. Common data is there. It will be common data plus right table data. Right table data is my transaction data. Right, so it will be only one record. Got it, guys? Now tell me, anyone have any issues? We're gonna talk in Q&A session. Now you guys have to tell me what would be the full. Everything syntax is everything same. What would be the full? Full means I'm gonna tell complete employees data, complete transaction data, and common data also. Complete. That means complete employee data and complete transaction data based on the employee ID. So what would be the data? Would be look like? Anybody wanna try? Just think.
Uh, we'll return
Complete
first
data.
employee
If you see
table.
what are the complete
Gonna
data I
be
have,
everything. Employee ID, employee name, last name, location,
everything.
PIN code,
Yes,
joining date,
yes. No,
and then the
Same
trans
as
no, no,
the
tables.
no,
left
not
join.
the column, not the column.
Oh, the one
Like
we
same
selected.
is you already mentioned here, like 1, 2, 3, 4,
What
and
I
after
need,
that
yes, correct. What it would be? It will be first. It would be a employee ID. Okay, first table, and second would be 1, 2, 3, 4. I believe my connection is lost. Am I audible properly, guys?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. So if you see that 843378 from the employee table, same transaction table 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Same data, whatever the data I have, right? For a same complete data of this, and whatever over here, only I have the same data. That means it will not have a duplicate data. If you think, it will not have a duplicate because it is going to be a repeated data between employee and the trans. So I don't need, so it will only have this data. It will be like a left. Let's say I'll gonna add one more data over here. Transaction ID 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's take it out 60,000. Let's say let's stay 29. 0 9. Okay, employee ID. I'm gonna take something else now. 1 2 3 4 5 6. Now you have to tell me what would be the.
Yeah.
If you see, it is not getting match, right? Complete data,
However, it will be printed.
right? Even though yes,
Employee
it will be
not
printed. Yes, it will be printed like 1 2 3 4 5 6. That means employee ID. I need an employee ID. Okay, I need an employee ID. What is the joining date? 29. And again, salary would be, what would be the salary? Because it is not common.
6,000. 60,000,
What?
sorry.
60,000.
Yes, it will give me the 60,000. And same way for 1 2 3 4 employee ID, right? Which is not there over here. If you see, the intersection is not there, then it is null. If it is there, then it will give you the answer. That's why I want to have this three particular scenario. Got it? I am treating as a data. So see, anybody can write the code, but what code I need to write? Once you know the data, you can easily write this code, right? This is called the, right? These are the joinings that we talked about, right? So if I want to go one by one, go ahead with this site, guys. It is very similar. It is a free site. You will find out each thing. That means I'll go over it one by one, guys. But I want you also go over this W3 is a very a similar site that you all the SQL related question will be covered, right? If I if I want to say that, if I simply want to select and I want to select the data. Let's say I want to select the data. Then how you gonna see that data? I'll go over from the first. Okay, I've discussed about the data related to the select statement. So let's see. See, this is how you're gonna type it in your Oracle database. Select customer name city. For here, as we discuss, what we're gonna select in our case, select star from that means star indicates each every column. Star indicates each column. That means I need every column to be shown. In here case, if you see, I want to see only two columns, right? So here you'll have this syntax: select customer name city. I want to see only these two columns from which table, that is called the customer table. If you want to see the distinct, let's go to the distinct. I'm just giving you an overview so that it is very easy to understand when you join or when you do your basic joins. That's why started with the joins, because in Power BI you need to understand the joining. See, I've opened this. Now you can see edit the relationship. If you see over here, I have in Power BI relationship between sales data and customer. If you see the little dark side customer key, from this customer key, from this customer, what is sorry, what is the cardinality? Here you can see what is the cardinality. It is 1 to 1. Here you're gonna say that it is going to be an inner join. It is going to be a inner join. As I shown over here, it is going to be an inner join here. If instead of join, this is full join. For a full join, you can write down full. For an inner join, you can just have to change the, instead of full, you just have to change the inner. right? Let's talk about distinct. Let's say if I want to find out the distinct, then for a distinct, what you're gonna write over here, you can directly write, go to this W3 school. I'm not sure whether it is getting a lot of time. So instead of here, I'll gonna teach over here. Select distinct. Distinct is the keyword where you're gonna find out. Let's say you want to find out what is the distinct customer ID. Cust ID from customer table, where you can directly write down and put the semicolon for a distinct value, right? Let's say if you want to find out, we talked about joins, we talked about inner, full outer, left outer, right outer, and the complete data, full join, right? Then we talked about what are the how we can do this and find out the actual data based on the count, right? Now we can see how we can filter out the data assumption. Let's say I want to filter out. So what the syntax for filtering out? Then it will be a where clause. It is called the where. It is called the where clause. How you can write the query or syntax? Select again. What, let's say if you want to find out the data on the basis of customer ID, then you can find out. You can directly write select star. That means I need all the columns from customer table, cust underscore table. Where now I'm gonna put the filtering. I just want to see cust ID. Cust ID is equals to double inverted comma. Always remember whatever the data type, customer ID. What is the customer ID? It would be, it is a number, right? You can directly write the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But let's say if I want to find out on the basis of customer name, then here you cannot write direct Dheeraj. It will throw you an error.
Welcome.
It will state that your Oracle or any, your ASCII record will not gonna understand by the Oracle database. It will ask you, it is not the right syntax. It will, so for what I need to write, it will always remember, put the varchar data in a single inverted comma, Dheeraj, where you can get the customer ID, sorry, customer name with the single inverted, and you can put it. So you'll get the where clause, right? And so on, where you can find out a similar way. I think it's got hang for me. Leave it. If assumption, I want to create a table, right? So how you can create? Let's say I want to create this table assumption, a basic employee table. How I'm going to create it? For create table, this is called DDL, data definition. As we last section yesterday, right? We discussed what is DDL, what is DML, and what is DCL, right? What is DDL? Create and drop. I have created, right? I want to create the table, drop and truncate, right? For that, how I need to create a table? Let's create a table. So what would be the syntax? Create table, table name. What is the table name? Employee. What are the columns I need to include? So you can include the column stating that braces, braces. Here you can give your column name. What are the column names? Employee ID. Okay. What is the data type? It should be a not null, or you can make it as primary key. There are multiple ways you can have a syntax. You can directly write that. You can put it as, what is the employee ID? What is the data type for this? Integer, not null. You can put it as integer 10. 10 is the precision. I'm calling how much, till how much I can store it. Right? This is a storage memory. How much I should have to limit, till how much digit I have to limit. Then you can put it as space, not null, comma. What is the next?
Employee name.
Employee name.
That again it will be a varchar. Correct? What would be the next?
Employee city name.
Correct? I'll put it a very simple city name. Again, it will be a varchar data type. Again, I am not mentioning the data type. So I'll put it as a 50. How much precision I need to provide? Again here, how much precision I need to provide? Again, city, again, what should I add? Employee number, phone number.
Contact detail.
Yes, phone would be integer, that is 10, and so on. I'm just adding it. And for ending it, right? What you need to, again, whatever you started the braces, you have to close it and with the semicolon. Here at the end, you can add the add constraint. Add constraint primary key, right? So what is the primary key for this? Employee underscore ID is the primary key. There are multiple ways where you can add it. The primary key here also in MS, in Oracle, you can add it like this. But if you ask me for a NetEase or a DB2, where you can directly add over here after the not null, you can directly write down the primary key. There are multiple syntax, but I am just giving you a little example where you can at least have how you can create. Right? Can we have a space in a column? No, 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 no. Always, because space in a column will not understand uh, by the database, because it understands the ASCII language, right? So it should always use the underscore. Always use the nomenclature with the underscore. Right? Now, second thing, how I need to add this data. I need to add this, right? How I can add it? So this is called DML statement. Now we discussed about DDL, we created. If you want to drop the table, I don't need this. I mean, let's say I don't need this table. Then how you can directly write down? Drop syntax would be drop table, table name. What is the
name.
table name? Employee.
Employee.
Yes. Let's say, let's come to the, I want to add this. So how it will be a insert, update and delete. This will be a DML statement. That means whatever data inside this, I need to modify, or I need to, let's say I'm not sure, let's say somehow my location has got changed. Somehow my, location has changed to USA, right? So I want this has to be updated. Then I have need to update on the basis of DML. On the basis of the DML, data modification language. This includes, you can insert the data, you can update the data, even though you can delete the data. Right? How I can insert it? I'm gonna add it. Insert into. This is the first step where you can add. Insert into where?
Table.
In employee. Yes, table name. In employee, what are the columns? Employee ID.
Employee name.
All of them I'm just writing out for you guys. Right? After closing this, open and close and put the values.
Yeah.
Values. Again, open this bracket. Put it as a, what is the employee is an integer. You can directly write 843378 because it no need to have the, because it is not the varchar. Then comma. First name. What is the first name? Or employee name is Ziraj. You can put it a single inverted comma. Again, you do not have to write directly. It will not gonna understand. Again, what is a city? Where? It is a city because you just now created by yourself. It is should be a where. So it should be a into the single inverted comma. A data should be included where with the single inverted comma. City, I'll put it as USA. Again, comma. What is the next phone number? Again, what is the phone number? It's a number. Then I'll gonna add, right? So this number I'll gonna add. And I'll gonna put the close bracket and I'll gonna put the this semicolon. Again, after insert or any DML statement, always use the commit. What you need to use the commit. This is called the DCL. You are controlling the data, right? It is called the rant. As I already explained yesterday, or a table, I want to access that table. If I want to access that, or I want someone not to look, or I don't want you guys to look for that table. It is a little privacy table. I don't want you guys to see that table. Then it will be a revoke. So those will be a my DCT, that is DCL language. That is my using the commits after is insert. Let's see if I want to delete the data, then you can simply write delete from employee and I want to delete some, let's say, again, I don't want to delete complete data. I just want to delete my data. Then you can write where clause filter the data, as I mentioned, as we discussed just now. And with the filter, you can write employee ID 843378 and put this semicolon. You can put the commit, right? And update, for update, what we're gonna say? Same. If I want to, let's say my USA location changed to Toronto, then what update I'll gonna do? Update.
Employee.
Update. Yes, table. Directly it will be a table name. There is no into or something. It will be a table name. Then what is the table name for this?
Employee.
Employee. Then set. What
Set
column I need to
City.
change? Anybody want to say that what? Yes, it's a city. City equals to
Where
what
employee
column it
ID.
would be, what data I need to change. Now the data, whatever the data I need to, you can put it like this. I need to
Toronto.
set this city to Toronto. Yes, and you can put the where, again where
Where
ID. I need to filter out the data.
City
Employee
is
ID
equal to
is equals to, these are the basic thing you will find out in any organization. These are the at least basic, you should guys know it. How you can create the table, how you can insert the data, how you can drop the table, how you can truncate the data. Let's say I don't want to drop the table, I just want to flush out the data. Then it is called the truncate. Again, it's a part of the DDLs. Truncate table and table name, that is called employee. And put the semicolon. Semicolon says that end of line. Okay, end of line. That means your code is up to this. So these are the basic things I want to share with you guys. We discussed today, even though go to the W3 school, right? And whatever we discussed today, right? Let me open that. Have that understanding related to the entity relationship. Again, we discuss data model, how we created the data model. Again, we discussed about uh, the things it has a lot of things. Now we'll in the next session or next, I'll gonna have a word that it will have a facts and dimensions, right? It will go to the, we talked about normalization, we talked about how we can denormalize the things. Then we go over the SQL, that the how we can see that the data, what are the data, how we can look up, what are the joins we can on which basis we can join those data, right? And we go over the what are the best site which are available in the freely in the market. You can directly go and check it. These are the simple syntax where you can find. We'll go over those each syntax, but these are the basic at least that we can have, have go over, right? How we can add, create a table, how we can insert the data, how we can delete the data, and how we can update the data. In upcoming session, what we're gonna understand, right? We have gone through the fair enough understanding about entity relationship. We talked a very detailed understanding about how we can add a PK SK here. See, we have this entity relationship. In upcoming, we're gonna understand what are the DIMs, right? What are the facts, right? What are the snowflake schema, right? What are the star schema, how we can create an actual star schema and snowflake schema. We'll go over that in our upcoming session. I'll gonna have that in through the team, and also go ahead with the previous recording. I'll gonna have a word with this team, with at least whomsoever wanna have that fair understanding, or those who have not gone through the sessions, please go ahead and go to the the previous recording and try to do till this much, till 66 slides we have done it, right? It includes creation, it includes installing the Power BI, it includes each entity, what it says. Each includes the how we can use of some main, how we can do the profiling. It includes the data modeling concept, includes the normalization and everything. And the next part, it will be having, if you see, fact and dimension, as I said. What are the facts? What are the dimensions? Right? You'll go over. See, we talked about primary keys and foreign keys. It is already covered. But if we again in dimensions, we're gonna talk. What are the primary again? What are the relationship? We already gone through, right? This is the relationship between each table. We already gone through this everything. This is the model view, right? How the model view, what is the connection between this sales table? We have gone through. These all are gone through, but that part we're gonna go over in our this model. We'll definitely gonna go over in this model how we can create the this lines. These are the lines. If you see, we already created in last session, but for the complete data, how we can go ahead and see the lines and the create the complete a data set. We already share the data, I believe. It is available in the forum, right? The data is already available. Try to get those data and try to play around with this tool. Okay. So for this, I'll gonna stop it over here, right? And I'll open for the Q&A, guys. Anybody wants to have a or anybody wants written off the questions, those can ask me the question. We'll open for the Q&A. Is my video is not working, I believe, guys? Does my video is working?
No, not working.
Okay. Is it working fine, right? Yep.
Yes. Now.
Cool. So I'm open for the Q&A, guys. You guys can help me. What are the questions you guys have? And we can go over from there for the next webinar or a next question. Or all good that we discussed today. Any questions? or fine? Any basic questions? You guys can unmute and you can ask the question.
I have one question.
Mhm.
Can you just explain right join that we did just for one
Okay.
time?
Yeah, sure. If you see over here, right?
It's not visible from our side.
Is it
Mm,
visible now? I am sharing.
Might be it's a network issue.
Okay, let me stop sharing. Let me put off my cam. Then I'll try to share it. Let me know if you guys can see my screen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. See, as I said, the right table, that means all the here from the employee and the trans, right? What is the right in my right table? If you see, what are the entries which are available? This is my
Trans
second table,
ID.
right? So if you
Yes.
see, these are my tables entry. Here, what is the common entry that I have? Only 843378. So in right table, what complete data of right as well as common entry. Got it? Whatever the data in right I have, let's say I have a two data 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3, 4. What is the employee ID? Right table, it will be something like the data would be look like this 843378. I don't need this. Okay. It will be something like this. Data would be look like this. Right table has the complete data of right, that means 843378. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 employee ID. Okay. The common, what is the common? 8433. Okay, it is already there, so no need to take it. What is the joining date? Okay, joining date is for 843378. Joining date is 843378. Joining date is 23. Let's take it as 23. Okay, in here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, it is the value of the second table because we are doing the right join. Let's see, do we have a joining date? No, we don't have this employee ID. Then it will be a null. Here it will be a null. That means we don't have data. We don't have data for joining date in our primary table. That means our first table. So there is no entry available. So it will be put it as null. And what is the salary for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? It will be a 60K. So it will be a 60K. So this data will be look like this. So that means whatever data is present in my second, it will show you, as well as what is the common in between first and the second table. Got it? All right, Deep, got it? Or
Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
yeah. Anyone wanna ask anything? Or we can wrap up for the today, and we're gonna go ahead with the dims and facts for the next, and then we can go ahead for the visualization. For the next week, we are gonna go ahead with the visualization, how we can create the dashboards in the Power BI, how we can create the reports, and how we can create the data model. These are the three things that we are, pending with. So we are pending with the three things. That is, I believe, at me, those who have not gone through this session, please go through. Those who have joined, so you will have until that next week, at least you will have a fair enough understanding where we are stand for. At least everybody will be on the same page, and then you can go. We're gonna go ahead with the reporting, data modeling. How we can directly go ahead hands-on on the Power BI hands-on data modeling and reporting and the dashboard. So we'll end it. At least I'll try to cover it because it has a very fast uh, syllabus, but I'll try to cover it as much as I don't want to go ahead with the pace. So I'll try to cover it within the next session, next 2 sessions. Yeah, Deep, you wanna ask something?
Yeah. So, are you will you be teaching us from now on for data analytics as well, or will there be any other
Yes,
difficulty
I am the
faculty?
only one.
Oh, you will be okay. You will be teaching us. Okay.
Yeah. Or there might be, I need to talk, I mean there might be different sessions. For Python I'll be taking care of it, SQL I'll be taking care of it, Tableau and the Power BI I'll be taking care of it. If you ask me advanced SQL is sorry, advanced Excel also I'll going to take care of it. If you ask me for a CSS, HTML and those stuff, then there will be a different faculty.
Okay.
Yeah.
And one more question. So, for starting of data analytics, right now we have started. I mean, we are going through the basics of HTML, CSS, JavaScript
Correct.
as a beginner, because I am
Correct.
from some of us are from non-IT background, so we just need to grab some
Correct.
basic fundamentals. So once we are done with it, first thing you want us to start with should be SQL, right?
Correct. First step is the SQL.
Okay. Because I have started doing some SQL things, but now I am going back to my basics for IT fundamentals. So HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And now once that is
It
done,
is
we have to
good to
go
have.
for
It is good to have. HTML,
yes,
CSS,
yes.
it is good to have because sometimes you might need a API call. I mean, apart from this, let's say, as we discussed, I believe you might have were there in the first session, first 2 session. I'm not sure. If we were there, we connected the databases. We fetched the data, right? We have gone through that session, right? So let's assume that you don't have let's say that you might get an opportunity to fetch the data from the web API or from the
Mhm.
Java API or from the JavaScript. For that you need to understand what is the HTML, what is the CSS, how the JavaScript is getting called. For
Okay.
that, so you directly cannot say that I am not from the Java background, I cannot do the data
Yeah,
analytics
yeah,
for this. For that it is
yeah. And
just need a basic understanding, and after that you can play around the SQL and those you can create a data model. And after the creation of the data model, now we're gonna talk in next session, complete the dashboards and the reports.
okay. Thank you.
Yep. Any questions, or we can wrap for the today? All good. All right, so we'll meet next session. I'll gonna have a word with the team, MIT team, that what are the sessions that we're gonna cover for the next thing. And please, I've already uploaded a PPT. I've already uploaded the raw data. Also, I'm gonna ask the team that please upload the recordings so that everybody can on a same page. So you can go through the session those who have missed out, and you can at least have a hands-on, because we did the hands-on. We have not done through the simple theoretical work. We have done through this hands-on work. So please have that recording. I'll have a request to the team, or else you also can connect to the MIT team and ask for the recording. Those we can directly get it. For that, I can summarize today's work and session. We will hopefully have a great day ahead. We'll connect for the next week. Have a great day, guys. Thanks for connecting.
So next
Thank you.
week
Thank
would
you.
be the
Thank you.
same Saturday and Sunday, right?
Yes, it will be a Saturday and Sunday. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
We haven't got any confirmation as they just
I
told us
am.
it's gonna. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It is
They
going
just
to
told
be
us.
changed. It is going to be
Yeah.
changed. Sometimes it will be a Wednesday night. I believe it is still in a talk, and it will be a Sunday. It is still in a talk. but I'm assuming that it might be on a weekends and there will be a 1 weekday, but still in a talks. You need to connect to
Okay.
those teams. You can directly connect to those teams for a what are the timings would be.
Okay.
But I can give a tentative. It would be a probably one would be weekends and one would be weekday probably at the night. That is what I've
Mhm.
got the confirmation from. But at least you also can have a word with those guys and from the MIT team, and you can connect what are the timings would be. Right?
And
So
so,
it will
Dheeraj, I think uh, today we almost wrap up with the HTML, CSS, and Java. So I
okay.
think there would be only one session remaining for that, or I think there might be not. But from next week, uh, what's the name who was taking our
Karan.
HTML?
Karan, right?
Karan, yeah. So Karan said that from the next week we are starting with the SQL.
Correct.
So
So
probably we are only having session for the SQL from the next week, right? So
correct.
I
I'm
there
going to take for that.
yeah, so there won't be a 4 session in a week from the next week,
Correct.
right?
But for the
Okay.
every confirmation, guys, please connect to Karan because and their team, they are the only one who is going to schedule for you guys as per your
Okay.
availability.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So yeah, if you ask me what are the points or what are the session I'm gonna take, it will be a SQL, advanced Excel, Python, basic Python, and DA. That means Power BI and Tableau. These are the sessions. So that means only apart from HTML, CSS, every session will be covered by me.
Okay. Understood.
I hope everyone are getting on the same page. Whatever we are learning,
Yeah, but
we are on
at
the same page.
least if our this visualization session would be on a next Saturday, until that
Yes.
we at least get the recording, so it will be
Yeah,
helpful to
correct.
continue, like to go further, right?
Correct.
Otherwise we stick on the like what we missed.
Right. So I'll have a word for that. I'll definitely have a word for recordings with Karan. So they'll sort it out for this. I'm sure they'll
Yeah.
gonna set.
Actually, they already told us once we are done with this 4 session, they will wrap up and then they will
Correct.
provide us. That's what he said in the beginning of the class today.
Yes. Correct.
So yeah, he will work on it. They will work on it.
I hope I answered your question, Ekta.
Yes, I'm
Okay.
clear now.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, guys? All questions are welcome. At least try to get that tool on your system. It is already there. You go to the recording, or else PPT is already shared on the forum. You check that step by step. It is already mentioned. Even though we discussed, and if you missed out, it is already mentioned step by step. Do the installation and try to get your hands dirty. First thing to learn any IT tool, get your hands dirty on the tool, right? So at least you'll have a confidence. Even though you guys don't need me, I'll gonna tell you. If you get your hands dirty, you guys will be in such a confidence that at least okay, what are the questions that I'm getting in my mind? I just need that much answers. Rest of the things I'll be getting from my end, right? So I'm gonna conclude for today. So I hope you enjoyed it, and we're gonna connect for the next session from next week. Probably Karan and their team will gonna put these session timings. Please connect to them, and we'll hope to see more guys, and we'll have a great understanding from next week for actual data model and the visualization. These are the two topics I'll gonna cover in the next session. Yep. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thanks for connecting.
Yeah.
Have a
Thank
great
you.
Thank you
day.
so
Thank
much,
you.
Have a good
Saurabh.
night.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.